welcome to the Quarantine Diaries. I am here today with Isabella. So before I say too much about Isabella, I'll let her introduce herself. So Isabella, say a little bit about yourself, and then while you're at it, say an interesting fact about yourself that the audience may not know.
Okay. Hi, I'm Isabella Davis. I'm going to be a rising senior at Wando. An interesting fact is that I am vegan, which a lot of people don't know, but some people do. So yeah, and I'm a member of St. Andrew's, part of the youth ministry, and just trying to finish up quarantine in a positive and good way.
So let's talk vegan for a second. How long have you been vegan?
I've been vegan for 2.5 years.
Okay, so pretty much all of high school.
Yeah, pretty much. It was my freshman year. It was towards like the beginning of freshman year that I started to be vegan.
Is anybody else in your family vegan?
No, nobody in my family is vegan. Although ever since I became vegan, my dad like stopped eating meat as much as he used to. He still eats meat, but like he doesn't eat it as much, and because he's also like a doctor, and before that he would try not to eat meat as much. But yeah, kind of I guess I'm a little bit with that, but nobody else really.
Okay, so what made you? It's one thing to go vegetarian. What made you decide to go full vegan?
Well, I kind of, same with Izzy, who's also part of youth ministry. We actually realized we went vegan around the same time for some of the same reasons. I kind of started watching a bunch of like documentaries about like the meat and dairy industry and like just educating myself on it, like watching a lot of videos and all of that and whatnot. And so I kind of made the decision, like I wanted to just start off like cutting out meat. And so like I did that at first. And then I was like, well, let me see how it is like cutting out like dairy and eggs. And so like I slowly kind of like dived into that category as well and cut that off. And after that, like I realized like a change, like I felt better not eating like dairy and cheese, and same with meat, and like finding new alternatives. And I enjoyed it, which was so like crazy to me because I'd always eaten like meat and like, like dairy like everyone else my whole life. But I enjoyed it, and I decided I wanted to try it out, and here I am 2.5 years later. So
impressive. I feel like the hardest thing I could probably give up meat pretty easily. It would be like the cheese stuff that would be the hardest thing for me to go down that full road.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, and my family members say that too. My dad says that. He's like, I could give up meat, but I don't know about like cheese and dairy, and all of my friends kind of say the same thing, those who would give up meat. But yeah, I was thinking it would be hard to give up like dairy and cheese and stuff, and it definitely was at first because I was a big like also like queso girl, like from stuff. I love the queso and all that. But I mean, after a while I didn't really like miss it as much, and I found like new alternatives like vegan cheese. Some people say it's like not as good, but I like vegan cheese like melted with, I don't know, I make like vegan grilled cheeses and stuff like that, and find new ways, and those are good. But yeah, so
here's the real question then for you. Are you the person who will check all the ingredients before you eat something? Or if you're out somewhere and somebody offers you something or anything like that, will you just roll with it?
It depends on like what it is. If it's like food like from my house and I can check and see like, oh, if it has like milk or egg, but then yeah, I'll check. I usually know like what's in stuff, but if I am in a restaurant, I'm not totally sure. Sometimes I'll just ask, or if I'll be like, oh, is there cheese on the salad? If not, could you leave it off? But I'm not like insanely like picky about it, but I do like to check. So yeah.
So what if you're over to somebody's house and like because I mean, it's one thing to not get a piece of chicken. Right. But like, what if you're over at a family dinner somewhere and there's mac and cheese on the table and that is the food?
I mean, I wouldn't eat it. I don't eat. I mean, if it's not vegan, then I'm not eating it. So yeah, and pretty much all my family like knows that too. So there's always like something for me, or I'll like bring my own food, to have. Or same with like friends' houses and stuff. Or if like I know like I'm hanging out with my friends and they're gonna eat pizza, I'm be like, okay, like I'll bring my own food, or I'll eat dinner before, or something like that. So yeah, kind of work the way around it.
I'm impressed with that because that's always my biggest fear is going over to somebody's place and like offending them for not grabbing whatever food. I was in high school, and one of my friends in Southern California was from Guatemala, and his mother just decided to order pizza. because it's what they did in that culture. And it's just they constantly are feeding the guests in their house. And I wasn't hungry, and I turned down a slice of pizza. And my friend had to pull me aside later and went, "You have no idea how much you offended my mother." And I went, "What do you mean I wasn't hungry?" And he went, "That doesn't matter. You take the pizza and you eat the pizza. Like, you eat the pizza. Next time you are over here, my mother offers you food. It doesn't matter what it is. You take it and you eat whatever it is." And I went, "Oh,
Right.
sorry, Nick. Didn't know. Didn't know. I wasn't hungry. It was nice of your mother, but I wasn't hungry." And so I think ever since then, I'm deeply afraid of offending people with food, because it's so subtle and not even realizing it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know what you're saying. Thankfully, I don't have any, I guess, Guatemalan friends who would react that way. But yeah, I definitely towards like the beginning of when I was vegan, I was like, I would worry about like that kind of stuff and going over people's houses. But like as time went on, like people would realize that like it wasn't me like offending them, but it was how like I saw it and like what I choose to eat, and they were like, you know, fine with that, which is nice. Yeah.
I like it when people, I feel like for certain people now in the 21st century are better now at asking before they have somebody over for dinner. Like, is there anything like you won't eat, don't like, etc., rather than just assuming whatever I cook will be what the person eats or whatever it is. I feel like that makes life a whole lot simpler too.
Yeah, that definitely does, because so many more people now are like vegetarian or vegan or whatever it is. So people are kind of used to the modifications of it. It's nice they look out for everyone.
Yeah. Well, all right. This was a nice little vegan aside and vegan chat here on a summer afternoon. So back to the quarantine conversation as it goes. So you can choose a real person. I may make fun of you if you choose a real person. Or you can go as crazy and inventive of a stranger as you want. If you were to quarantine with anyone who you are not related to, who would you want to quarantine with and why?
Oh my gosh, this is a hard. Okay, I saw this on there, but I was trying to think of who I would. You said like, would it be like a celebrity or someone like that? Like,
you can go, people have said their best friend. I make fun of that because that's easy. And then I'll let them answer it. And then I'll push them a little bit deeper to go creative. So celebrity, maybe somebody, I wouldn't even say they don't have to be alive today. Maybe they were alive at one point. So somebody from history, but like who would you want to quarantine with? Now, remember, this is like 2 months of like straight interaction. So it could go really well. Like, I always like the idea of a comedian because they're going to be funny. But at the same time, are they funny when they're not up on stage?
When they're
yeah.
in comfort of their home. Oh my gosh. See, like I would be the type of person to say my best friend because I wouldn't know like anyone else. But I mean, I see my friends still like a lot, but I'm trying to think of someone out of, you know what? I might say Jennifer Aniston because she's my favorite actress and like Friends and everything. So I feel like that would be really cool to quarantine with someone who's done so much acting wise, because I'm in theater and same like, and want to hopefully pursue an acting career later on. So I feel like that would be fun. I always admired her and her work, and she's so much, and Friends is like my favorite TV show. So I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of fun to watch like reruns of Friends with her sitting right next to me, the one and only Rachel Green. So I don't know. Maybe
Are you sure she'd watch reruns of Friends with you though? Like,
I don't know. That's a good question.
Probably watch like, or like us when they go to, I guess it's not Netflix anymore, but like, and go, you know what I want to do to relax? I want to watch a couple episodes.
I don't want to watch it. Yeah, that's true. Maybe one episode just for the experience. We'd have to, but
that would be fantastic to find like one of the most awkward Rachel Green episodes and watch it with her and in front of her and see her own reaction to it. Like I think of the one where she accidentally cooks. It was Thanksgiving and she's supposed to cook like the trifold, and like she cooked the weird, disgusting thing that Joey wound up loving.
Yeah.
That would be a fun one to watch with her, I think, and get her reaction to everything. So where would you want to quarantine? Like, that's the real, like, what's your ideal setting for a quarantine?
It can be like any spot, like vacation wise.
Oh, anywhere and everything.
Anywhere. I would probably, I would say Greece, because I've always wanted to go to Greece, and Greece is so pretty. So maybe just cool, like I don't know what they're called, the little houses they live on, but
Villas.
they're like, yeah, the little villas, something
Mhm.
like that, just like pretty, like small, like I don't know, by the water, and just quarantine there. So
I like that. Greece is the most original answer. Yeah, I like that.
really,
Yeah, I
yeah,
like it. 'Cause normally it's like a
great.
beach or a mansion, or I like
Yeah,
Greece. Greece is
no,
good.
they're good.
And I feel like Greece is beautiful, and it does have beaches and all that stuff too. So Greece is a pretty
Right,
solid choice. Um,
true.
so you're obviously done with school now. Hallelujah. Um,
Yes.
while you were in school,
Hmm.
that sounds weird. While you were doing school from home online, how were you
Right.
filling your time outside of school? And now maybe now that summer is here, even though stuff is starting to reopen again slowly, like how are you spending your time? What are you doing to fill your hours on a day?
Well, let's see. I've been like pretty busy recently, and like after getting out of school too, and even during school for a while. But I'm spending my time working. I work at the co-op, and so I've been working there a few days a week. And then when I'm not working, I'm also babysitting. Like I was babysitting this morning. So finding kind of like little jobs to do and to make money, especially during the summer, and then also hang out with friends. Has been nice to be able to do that more recently as stuff's kind of been like you were saying, and same with the beach, like going to Isle of Palms. I was there yesterday. So I've been finding ways to do that, and just still being like safe about everything and not doing too much. Like if I'm with friends, sometimes we'll just hang out at somebody's house and like whatever. And so we're not like I don't know like out in public with too many people, but just low key,
Mhm.
just stuff like that. Finding ways to pass the time and hang out with family and stuff. Going on bike rides has been fun because we just recently moved into our neighborhood that we live in now. So we've kind of been like exploring that a little bit. And my brothers love to go like crabbing and shrimping, so I'll take them to do that sometimes. But yeah,
Do you go
it's been
crabbing
fun.
and shrimping with them, or do you just watch them?
No, I just watched.
That's a good big sister right there.
Yeah,
Taking them to
thanks.
something that you are not doing. Um,
Right.
really good. So, in the midst of all of this, have you been reading anything, watching anything, playing anything interesting during the midst of all this?
Um, I was watching some TV shows before, but not really. I'm so bad at finishing and watching TV shows because I'll start one and then like I'll get to season 2 or 3 or whatever, and then I'll stop and then I'll remember it like 6 months later and go back. So I was kind of doing that for a little bit, but like not really. And then pretty much just watching movies. I have like a list of movies that I like. I always have a list of like of movies that I want to watch. So I'll sometimes go back to the list and say, okay, what
Okay,
should I watch? I'll take it off the list.
okay, that's good. What's the
So
last one you
I've been
watched?
the last one I watched was it was on Netflix. I watched it the other day. It was a comedy with Adam Sandler. So I watched that movie.
Okay.
But yeah. So finding just some little things to do, but that's pretty much it. I'm not a big reader, but I did read a book a couple months ago. I don't remember what it was called, but it was kind of like a fiction rom-com book for teenagers. So I read that, which was good. But I find more books to read because I like reading and it's good to pass the time, like when you're at the beach or something like
Mm,
that. So,
yep, this is the season for it. So you mentioned Netflix. There's two
yes.
questions I need to ask you, and neither of these are me sanctioning these. It's just it's what's in the water right now. Did you
Uh,
try to watch Tiger King?
I did.
And
Yes.
what did you think of
And
Tiger King?
well, I didn't get to finish it. I only watched the first episode.
Okay.
I that was all I got to. I know that so many people said that it got better after the first episode, and usually the first episode isn't always the best. But I just wasn't. I didn't like it as much, so I was like, and I just stopped. Like same thing with TV shows, I can't always finish them, so it's still in my continued watching.
I can't do Tiger King. I just can't. Like my brain cells are too valuable. I can't. I can't bring my. I'm like I've heard everything about Tiger King. I don't need
Exactly.
to watch it. Okay. Have you tried watching Outer Banks yet?
Oh yes, that I meant to say that. That was what I watched. Yeah, I watched Outer Banks. I watched all of it. I love the show. I'm obsessed with all the characters now, and especially since it was like filmed here, I love it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I watched all of Outer Banks, and I want to watch it again, but I want to wait because it was really good. I enjoyed watching that.
So I heard from some of the others, like I think it might have been
Uh,
Molly and Cecilia, um, that they had a chance to be an extra on Outer Banks, but didn't do it. Did you have a chance?
right.
Did you hear about any of all that?
I totally could have. I did have a chance, but yeah, I have a couple friends who were extras in it, and then I also have a friend who she went to St. Andrews last year. She's in college now, Gracie Cooper, and she had a line in it in the first episode. She said, I think she said "hey" or something, but yeah, and so I could have totally done it because one of my friends was doing it and she was telling about it. But the thing was, at the time, you had to have had a car and a driver's license, and I didn't have a car yet. And for some reason, they were like using cars in the background for something. So I couldn't do it for that reason. But I'm sure I could have found a way around it. But it was also kind of too late notice when I found out about it. But I really wish I would have been. But I know that next time, whenever they do season 2, me and like are like, we're gonna do it. We have to be an extra.
Because that's my whole thing now is I'm like, especially considering how big a deal it turned out to be, like when season 2 comes a knocking, if that tune is going to change of where, oh yes, I will be an extra on season 2 of Outer Banks.
Yes, I would love to. That would be great.
So good.
Way to dip your toes in the water too of the acting and all that stuff. Be fun.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's just fun. Can you actually recognize the places that they are filming at in Outer Banks?
Yeah, I can. A lot of them, especially when they're on Shim Creek and Pope, his character, his dad owns like the wreck on Shim Creek or like in the show or whatever. So like I can totally recognize that because when I lived in the old village, I would ride my bike there and golf cart there like all the time and like watch the sunset and see the wreck and stuff. So I immediately recognized that. And like same when they were on Isle of Palms a few times, and when they showed like the bridge pretending like Outer Banks, but that's really like, you know, Charleston, Mount Pleasant, and that was like right near the boathouse. And then yeah, I recognize a few other places too. And wherever they did like a party scene. I think it was on Folly where they filmed it. I can't remember the island, but I've recognized that before. So yeah, I knew a bunch of places, which is so cool. Which is why I loved watching it, to see places, you know, that we live right near.
So good. So much fun. All right. Well, we have hit the end of our 15-minute mark. So this is going to be the end of part 1 of the Quarantine Diaries with Isabella. So say farewell for now, and then we will be checking back in a little while. So thank everybody for tuning in. Bye, Isabella.